I'd like to welcome you all to the NASCOE Publicity Breakout session. It's a little different this year because we're doing this virtually, but I am a little bit excited because I don't have a real structured agenda usually for these breakout sessions, because I'd like to hear what the people from across the country, publicity chairs and members alike, what their feedback is for publicity, because we're just 6 people from across the country trying to get messages out to you, and sometimes I'll speak for myself. I sometimes think, oh, this will go to everybody and they'll understand it, and I find out that isn't the case. So feel free to either there's a chat available that you can type comments into, and you can chime in that way if you don't have the microphone capability, or you can always feel free to jump in on a conversation as we're going along. So I know that I've got at least 2 of my area chairs that were on the call. Well, I see Carol is still on, but I don't know if I lost Brenda again, or oh, no, she's still on. I just couldn't see her there for a second. So Carol is our Northeast area publicity chair, and I've known Carol for a while, but is this your first year being the Northeast area publicity chair? I can't remember.
This was my second. I was under both years of Larry's.
Okay, yep. And Brenda is from Colorado. She is the Southwest area publicity chair, and I believe this is your second year maybe as well?
Yeah, it is. I didn't do a complete year last year.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I do remember that. So these are the people that your area executives rely on to get information out to the membership for your areas. And if you're working on publicity for your state, or maybe your state has a Facebook page or group or something like that, and you'd like to get more information, you can always contact me. You can also contact your area chairs, because they're good resources on this as well. So one of the things that I was going to talk about today, and that we've received some comments on, and I agree with some of it, is the NASCOE webpage. So I'm just going to pull it up and show you what I see when I go in and log in. So this is the dashboard. The NASCOE website is a WordPress based website. So this is how when I log in, this is what the things that I see. So for instance, I should just show you in another tab here. So this is what our website actually looks like. And we have basically had this same theme for the website since we moved to WordPress. And that's been 6 years ago, I think. I want to say 2015 is when this moved here. It was before I started on as national publicity. I think I was an area chair when this moved here. So there's some limitations on this theme. One of the things that if you're at all techie, you know that, 2 years, 6 years can seem like an eternity in the technology world. So one of the comments that has been made multiple times is that people would really like to see this website refreshed. So this is what that website kind of looks like now. I added this block in here to show that you can just click this button and it takes you to the convention page. Before that, we had a smaller one that was for COVID-19 information. We have this Join NASCOE button that people can click. I'll do that now. And it will take us to a page that has some information the membership committee has wanted, as well as a referral form that prospective members can fill out, and then a message will go to the area chair and national chair for the membership committee. And so we have a very clunky menu, in my opinion, and it's just kind of, to me, it's plain Jane. I've tried to jazz it up a little bit, but it's not what a website looks like now. So one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about is different themes that we can put on. So when we go back to the dashboard, I can look at different themes for the website. And this is our current one, this Hemingway rewritten. And if you can see, I don't like hovering over it because it does kind of a frosting over the top of it. But we basically have the picture that came with the theme as our main picture on it. Another one that I when I was looking, trying to think of ones that might suit our needs and are more with the times, maybe, shall we say. I saw this Barnsbury one here. It happens to be the kind of template website that's for it. Happens to be for like farmers market, organic farming type company. Most of these are kind of fake companies that the theme designers create for the purposes of showing off their theme. And then there's this one here for organization, and this one, I was just looking for one that was maybe geared for membership type organizations. So it just happened to have green. So you can change the colors in that too. This number 2020 down here, WordPress issues a new theme each year named after that year. So there's a 2019 out there, there's a 2018, there's 2020, there'll be a 2021 issued sometime either late this year or the beginning of the first of the year. So one thing that's kind of nice is that we can go in and see a little bit about the theme, and we can do this live preview, which is it's kind of fun and kind of scary at the same time. It isn't going to actually change anything on the public facing site, but it will kind of put what we currently have on our homepage into what the theme looks like. And you can see it's kind of all in a way jumbled because it's merging the formatting that we have on the website currently with what this theme allows. So one thing is I would probably want to change the menu and get it organized a little different. So there's like a home page, officers page, area pages, committee chairs. So if you needed to go to see membership, you would go to committee membership and then go from there. Because this just, and maybe it's fine for some of you, but it looks a little clunky to me. And it kind of, and the one thing it does is we have a sidebar, and when it converts this theme, it puts anything that's in the sidebar all the way to the bottom. So it's kind of weird. You get this all looks pretty clean, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's weird. It's all off to one side and that. So there are things that you can get an idea of what the page would look like, but it's not giving you a 100% accurate view of what it is.
And Teresa, the theme is what it is. You can't like pick some of Barnesbury and merge it with organization and come up with your own.
If a person was really into programming WordPress, you probably could.
Okay.
And one thing is, with this theme, I don't know if it will let me. That's on a different page. Each one of these will have like its own web page as well, and it will show you exactly how they programmed it, what kind of boxes and that they put in there to make this look. Okay. So I think I'm going to go to the pages view, because each one of those sub pages are, you know, the different menu types and that's all pages within this site. So I'll show you. So I'm going to go back on the live site to home, just because I want to jump to the 2020 convention page. And so when I created this page, I just had a little bit of information about about the convention and how the reason why we switched to virtual this year, and just a little explanation. And then I went into and had there's some, I can't remember what these are called right now, but they're separate little boxes where you can kind of choose what you want in them. There's different formats and all of that. So that's what it looks like when someone from the general public comes in. They see this, they see there's buttons here, what have you. So then if I go back to the programming part of it, I need to filter for 2020, because there's somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 40 pages on this website. It takes a while to find the right one that you're looking for sometimes. So I need to go down here to this Convention 2020 page. And so this is what it looks like on the programming side of it. It takes a little while to get used to the fact that it's pretty much always going to be black and white here. And with the theme that we have right now, it's kind of odd, because sometimes you'll be like, well, I want this type to be green, let's say. You put green on here and then you go and preview it, and sometimes it turns out a completely different color. It like adjusts it, because I think the text on that website is supposed to default to white, and links, like hyperlinks, are defaulted to yellow. So if you want to change it to a different color, and you're like, oh, this, I think it would look cool with this color. And then you go over there and you have like red. And you're like, okay, where'd that come from? But it's something within the theme and the programming that makes it do that. So down here, these are my little blocks of information. I added this one today because I thought people might be interested in seeing the posts that we're putting up for the convention. And let's say down here after the NASCOE store information, I want to put something else in there. So I want to add a block, and I get a pop-up box that shows a few. A lot of these are the ones that I've used most recently. But I want to look and see what else is there. And it's kind of small, but I get a whole bunch of different choices over here. So kind of to answer Carol's question, you can do a little bit of stuff to make it look the way you want to. So like if I wasn't crazy about different things with that one, I could use the different blocks and different patterns. This one comes up a little more slowly. And so like maybe I wanted to put in 2 columns of text with images. And this is just a placeholder that goes in here about Don Quixote. But then you can also replace that photo with another photo. Same thing with this one. And then the text, you could insert your own text there. So if there are things about a particular website you don't like, sometimes you can take ideas from another one and with using the blocks, make it to be how you want it to look. It's kind of a long way to say you can sometimes, but sometimes you can't. WordPress is a very user-generated site. A lot of themes are created by just other WordPress users that make something that suited their needs, and then they make it available for people. So that's what a lot of these are. And then some are actually made by WordPress itself. So I need to select here and get rid of this because I really don't want to update the website to have Don Quixote at the bottom of it. So that's one thing, is that we can do that. But I'm also kind of looking for people who might be interested in doing that, helping with coming up with ideas to update the website, or if there are people who've worked with WordPress before, have worked with social media, those kind of things. Those are all things that we need to start looking for people who are willing to do that. So I'm just gonna stop sharing that for now. I think we've got a few more people on, so I just want to welcome anybody that joined in since the last time. Is that Charlene there? Your name is right. It's being covered by my toolbar.
It is. I'm sitting in the hospital parking lot.
Oh. So yeah, we're always looking for people who are willing to share their skills with us on that kind of thing. The other thing that I've been working on a lot more than I thought I was going to be is you may have heard things about the NID, the NASCOE information database. That is something that we started working on at last year's organizational meeting. So we've advanced a little bit. It's what the database is intended to be is kind of an information resource for us where we, find out who do we actually have for members. It's one thing that we've struggled with in NASCOE is, we know who, each state knows, well, these people write checks every year. These people have payroll deduction every year. But if somebody would ask, like Rick Satoris, who's the secretary, oh, I need to confirm whether this person is a NASCOE member. We really don't have anything nationally that they can go to and go, yep, they are currently a member. So that's been something that Brandon Wilson has wanted to do. And especially now with, if you were on the morning session, some of our membership challenges with the rapid turnover right now of retirements and people switching from the agency, people being hired, it's been hard to keep up. And then you throw in COVID and all of the challenges of that on top of it, and it makes it even more fun. So I'm just going to pop over to what we've got so far. So you guys have an idea of what we've spent a lot of time on. And your membership team is going to do that also during their breakout.
Teresa, do we not still keep the, do we still not have a national member database?
No, this is what we're working on right now.
Really?
Yep. So, yeah, it's been kind of talked about as long as I've been national committee chair, and it probably was talked about when you were an exec, Charlene, and that's been several years ago now. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I guess I assumed that somebody was still maintaining that.
No, not really. And so that's I kind of got into it because I had the communications database. Membership is obviously involved in it, and the officers are as well. Each one of the officers has input on it, but this is kind of what we've got so far for states to update. And I know that this got sent out at least twice last year. It was, I think, last fall, and then again, it may have gotten sent out in January or February. I don't recall right off the top of my head. That feels like 4 years ago, by the way. It's just been such a weird year. So I'm not sure how well you can see it. I know when I was on the call the other night with the membership team, I had to really blow it up so it looked huge on my end so you could see it. But so on this employee listing here, one thing that that NASCO has been able to do is they have asked and so far have been able to get on a routine basis the employee listing for CO employees nationwide, which is something that I don't think had been able to be obtained before. So what you're seeing here is Alaska and Alabama, part of Alabama anyway. I've hidden some of the columns because it's got grade and step and that in there, and we don't need to see that. But these are all CO employees. And that's one thing that we don't have on here is that there are some states, Minnesota is one, where a GS employee, they can choose to be an associate member, but they can be a full dues paying member as well in Minnesota. And there are some other states that have that as well. So right now, this information database is not going to have any of those GS employees in there because all we've been getting, states can add them in, but right now as it is, it'll all say CO for their pay plans. And if you're one of those that pays a lot of attention to your pay stubs that you download off of employee personal page, you'll notice these union codes. 33 is the NASCO union code, and the union local code is your state number. So like if I went to Minnesota, they would, and we'll see if I'm correct. I will actually filter this for Minnesota because I believe Minnesota should be 27 on this, and it is. So it's like, no, in my luck, it'll be something random. But so this was the snapshot in time that the information in here actually refers. These are people that were on here as of July 7th. That was the last time we got a download from FSA. Some of these people have been here for a while. With that report, we get their service comp dates, which can be a good indicator of how long someone has been with the association or been with the agency. And if they've not joined you and they've been around since 86 or 89 or whatever, you might go, oh, they might be a tough nut to crack, or they might be somebody who had a career with another government agency and has now come to FSA, and maybe they'd be somebody that hasn't been spoke to about NASCOE as well. And then the last 4 columns, well, actually 7 columns. I don't know where I got 4 from. This is what we've been requesting for states to get home email addresses so we can communicate with them, especially when it comes to legislative things. We cannot use government email address. So that's what we're looking for are those home email addresses for people. There has been some interest expressed nationwide about starting text messaging items, and so states have been asked to provide or try and get mobile phone numbers from people. The dues withholding, that's just a column, that we have it updated that they have that FSA 444 on file. And this NASCO pay by check, that is like the really important one, because we can estimate what our membership is by looking at that dues withholding column versus how many we have in that state. But if we don't have accurate information in pay by check, we don't know. Because if you look here at Minnesota, we've got more than I thought that are contributing using a check instead of payroll deduction. So that's something that is always, it's really important that we find that out. So the one thing that I showed the membership committee and what they were really looking for in all of this is this last row is a subtitle or a subtotal row. So Minnesota has 209 employees that as of that July report were participating using payroll deduction. 39 have been reported to be using pay by check. And I'm going to use a count on the area column because we have Midwest area attached to all of those. So right now we have about 100 employees that don't use pay withdrawal, and 39 of them that are pay by check. So, we have roughly 50 people that actually a little bit more than that, about 60 people that we're not sure about. They may not be members, or they may pay by check and we just don't know that they pay by check. So this is something that the membership committee is going to really be looking at to identify members. So that's something that maybe if, as you're a publicity chair maybe, or just an interested member and you'd be willing to help talk to people in your county office, maybe you know that there's a new employee that's onboarding, that's something you just mention to them, that, to talk with them about NASCO, because that's a publicity kind of thing. Tell your story, tell why you're a member of NASCO, and, encourage them to do that. Some of the counties, it's amazing, the counties that have had 100% membership in NASCO for years. And we just want to make sure that people are being contacted and talked to about NASCO, and that we get them entered in here, because then these email addresses in turn get put into Mailchimp, so they receive our emails. So it's kind of an interconnected thing between membership and the publicity committee, is to get these, particularly email addresses. If you get the mobile phone numbers, that's even better. But So you may hear things in your area sessions and that talk about this. So, yep, 2 areas down. The last few years we've done this convention cash club contest, and this year, obviously, with our COVID scenario, we haven't had the ability, we chose not to basically do it, because when we were planning this, we really didn't know what we were going to do. And then once the board of directors made the decision to cancel, there was kind of no point in doing that. So, so that is something that we typically talk about and recognize those people. We have 3 social media outlets for NASCOE right now. The one that we've had the longest, just share my desktop again, is our NASCOE News Facebook page. And this is actually how it looks from my end when I'm looking at it. Should switch this. We're up to 3,066 followers. And I think we crossed the 1,000 follower mark when we had the 35-day furlough a little over a year ago. So the page has really grown. I've been trying to do more posting this week, and then I usually take pictures during convention and post them anyway. It's a little bit different because now I have to try and take screenshots, and that's the best screenshot I could get of Brandon Wilson, and I feel bad. I took like 6 or 7, and that was the best one I got of Brandon the entire time. So I'm gonna have to apologize to him. And then, so just, letting people know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what you're missing. Then also made sure that the breakout sessions, just as a reminder, the breakout sessions were happening now. And then just a few minutes ago, this is when Brenda Toft joined in, this is what I was working on getting programmed to release. The one thing that's nice about the Facebook page is that you can schedule a release to go out at a certain time. And so I wanted the reminder to go out about the area breakout sessions. So I did post that and got that up and running. Here's our Instagram feed. I hope you can still see that. If we can't see that, if somebody could chime in. But so one of the things that I've been doing, Facebook owns Instagram. If you didn't know that, Facebook owns Instagram. So it's a lot easier to cross post between those two. And oh, there's one of our followers, and that's a really good looking spread there. So this happens to just be the feed that we would see that go to the profile. It shows the different posts that we've had there. We don't have nearly as many followers on Instagram. We have 259. It's getting bigger. So, and I think maybe, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on this. I think that Instagram maybe trends a little bit younger now than Facebook does. But it's just another way that we can, publicize information that's going on in the agency. Then this is this happens to be a social media programming site, Hootsuite, and this is where I actually did the scheduling and the posting today, so it'll post at the same time on both sites. I don't have to go back and forth and go, oh, got to go to Instagram and do this, and then flip over to Facebook and do that. So it's just kind of interesting because there are some tools out there that can help people save a little time when posting if you're working on those. And Hootsuite just happens to be one of many that do this kind of thing. Let's see. Oh, and the other thing that I mentioned a little bit about, and this is something that we subscribed to a little over a year ago, was Mailchimp. This is how we're sending out our email blasts now. So, so when you see an email that goes out, like for instance, I'll just pull a campaign. I don't remember what our last one was. The convention links. So this is, with this software, there's different themes like this that you can put the information in. You can design your own, or if you're like me, you take a design that you kind of like and then you tweak it a little bit. So, so this was our one to let everybody know that all of those convention links were posted and that they could click on any of these links and go right to the section that they wanted to see. They also, with this, they also have, they call it a social footer, and you can add the programming to have them go to NASCOE.org, NASCOE News on Facebook, NASCOE News on Instagram, and then our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is one of the newer things. It's the NASCOE video blog. That's the one site I was going to pull up earlier, and oh yeah, because I'm doing that within Instagram or within Mailchimp. You know, this really works well when your fingers hit the right keys. So we don't have a lot of posts on there right now, but we have a few and a couple from the last few days. The meeting recordings that we're doing will get posted. We'll be using YouTube to post them and then put them on the NASCOE website as well. But we had the Herb Sorley First Timer Awards, basically an orientation information session yesterday afternoon that was posted. And then what's brand new, we have a NASCOE membership video that's being debuted. One thing that's kind of nice to know is here we have 39 subscribers, and if we get over 100 subscribers, it actually unlocks a few more bells and whistles for YouTube. Some of them we probably wouldn't use, but there's a few that might be interesting for us to try with some of our posts. And one thing with YouTube, if you subscribe to it, you can choose to get a notification. So the minute that I make a video public, or whoever's running the show makes a video public, you could get a notification and you could go and look at that. So Brandon's done, I think, maybe 3 videos this year. We've had the membership work group crew. Oh, I take that back. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos from Brandon. So we've had some good reports for that. And sometimes I think people just like to see a face, especially if you've never been to a convention or a rally. It's kind of nice to put a face with the name Um, and then and for me, being someone who sang in choirs since they were 3 years old, hearing the voice helps a lot. So I kind of enjoy seeing the different videos. Does anyone have any questions about what they've seen so far, or just maybe questions about what's going on in your state or area for publicity and what you would want to do? Oh, that's a lot of quiet out there. So
Hey, Teresa.
Yep.
Sorry, it's Brenda. I'll ask questions because I have a few.
Okay.
So when you very first started, you were talking about the NASCOE web page, and I was just kind of looking at it on my phone. With that WordPress and all that, and I kind of missed part of what you were saying, so correct me if I'm wrong. But would there be a possibility for each area then to have like a tab on that so people could go back to just their area?
You know, it's not something that you mean that the area would control?
Well, I don't know if I don't know how that would work, to be honest with you, but like for us, for the Southwest area, I'll just say that, you know, if where you can tie back to the NASCOE newsletter, you know, for the whole nation or whatever, would there be a spot for like each area where they could tie their area newsletter back there, you know, and have it kind of broke out as to who's the area exec and you know, who are the members of that area's chairs? Would there be a way to tie that all in together and then it would be in one spot instead of everybody trying to create their own? Or does that even make sense?
Okay, well, I'm sharing the NASCO webpage right now, so hopefully you guys can see it. If you go under the area information, so let's say we're going to go to the Southwest area. Since Brenda's asking the questions, we'll go to her area. So here, you know, we've got, you know, Marla and Tracy. We've got a place here for your area chairs. And then all of the bulletins that I receive get posted here.
Okay, so you do it.
Yep. So if I get your newsletter, I post it here.
Okay.
So,
because you know how we were talking about Mailchimp earlier and how limited it is like for my area, you know, if I could, which again, you know, I realize you probably don't want a lot of hands in the pot and I totally understand that. But, you know, for me to be able to go post it on there and then just use that link in Mailchimp and say, go to this spot, and then everybody could pull it up instead of trying to send it out individually. I was just kind of thinking like on that lines.
No, that's definitely something that we could explore because we can add in here different users. You know, we would just, you know, and kind of like what you alluded to, we'd want to make sure that the people who have access are, you know, careful and conscientious about what they're doing, and there would be some training involved and all of that as well. But that is a definite possibility, you know, that you could go ahead and upload it, you know, create the links on this Southwest area page. Because the other place that they get posted, if I can find it, is on the publicity page. I have links here that take people to those area pages. So if I go to this link, it should take me to the Southwest area page again, where you can scroll down and find those bulletins. So, but that's definitely something that we can explore, Brenda. Because I think as we go on, the technology stuff is going to get bigger and bigger. And whether it ends up, the technology ends up staying part of the publicity committee is something that is part of conversation. So just to be aware of that, that there may or may not have a technology split where the website and that goes to a technology coordinator. There's discussions going on about that.
Okay. I mean, I realized that you had that. I guess I didn't explain myself very well, and I apologize, because that's truly what I was thinking. If we could just save a step and even help. I mean, this is a lot of work for you. I admire everything you do, trust me. So that's why I thought, if it could be even helpful to you, it'd be getting the information out and kind of more our responsibility instead of us relying on you and just creating more work for you. So thank you for your explanation. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you for that question, because it was also a very good idea. It's something I need to make sure I keep in mind. Anyone else? So we've got roughly 10 minutes before your area breakout starts. So I want to allow you enough time that you could jump on your area calls as well. But anyone else has any questions? I see that a couple of our other area chairs came on after I introduced the others. I see Tammy Ivey is on here. She's from the Midwest area in Iowa. And I see Hillary Hancock. She is the Southeast area chair. And I don't know if our newest chair is on here, Tina Pierce from Montana. She took over this spring from Ann Kelly for the Northwest area. So those are the other area chairs that are on. Okay, well, I want to thank all of you for joining. Probably have had more at this publicity session than we've had in many years in person. It's kind of exciting to see that. And like I said earlier, the videos will be posted. I'm not exactly sure when, because it's all a new process, but I'm sure once all of them are posted, we'll probably send something out in an email to let people know where they're located on the website. So if there's nothing else, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for being here and listening in. I hope you have a great weekend. Maybe we'll hopefully see some of you soon in person.
Thank you, Teresa.
Yep.
Yes, thank you, Teresa.